Hi. So before I start talking about what I'm going to talk about, I want to tell you about this. And so this Saturday, May 10th, I'm going to be at Mind's Eye Comics at the Burnsville Center, and I'm going to be doing the Weirdos Art Gallery. And so when I made the Weirdos, I produced everything on giant pieces of watercolor paper, and I'm going to be displaying all of them. Starting at 11 a.m., that's when the store opens, until we're all sick of me. And so I hope to see you this Saturday, May 10th, Mind's Eye Comics, Burnsville Center. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I want to talk about confidence and perspective. And let's talk about confidence first. My confidence is like a pool. It can be very, very shallow, or it can be like unreasonably deep. Usually when I am creating art, I'm really confident. I feel like I know what I want to say, and I feel like I have the ability to say it in my own unique way. But when I publish it, or I display it, or when I give it to you, to the world, often I am not confident, like sometimes debilitating. It affects how I talk about the work. It affects how I try to sell it, because I live in a hyper-capitalistic society, and the only way that my feelings and my thoughts have worth is if I get like some kind of monetary response to them. I'm being sarcastic, but also I'm not. And you know, once you put yourself out there, you kind of start comparing yourself to everybody else. I used to think that my weirdness and like the weirdness of the things that I made, I used to think those were bad things. But thankfully, I've kind of learned that the opposite is true. I was just reading an article by Alex Muller, I think his name is, and he wrote about the sameness of everything. And he started by talking about an experiment that was taken, and it was, they talked to 11,000 people, 1,000 people in 11 different countries, and they just asked them a bunch of questions about art. They asked them, do you prefer sharp edges or curved edges? Just stuff like that. They asked 11,000 people. Then, when they were done asking 11,000 people these questions, they asked 11 different painters to look at the results of the questionnaires and just make a painting that would appeal to the most people. Now here's the thing. They came up with 11 different paintings, and the painters didn't talk to each other. They just painted based on what the people wanted. And guess what? All 11 paintings looked pretty identical. And that's how we've ended up where we are, where everything kind of looks and sounds and feels the same. That's why we have all the sequels and the reboots and the on and on and on of things that we're familiar with. It's because it's human nature to want that familiarity. But creativity, real creativity, doesn't do that. When I first released it, and to this day, people will look through this book, and it doesn't look like a superhero book. It doesn't really look like like anything else that exists out here, because I made it, and I actually made it like with my own hands, and I didn't like use, I don't know, like AI or any kind of technology to make it look like somebody else's. I made it. And I used to be really self-conscious about that. I wasn't when I was making it. When I was making it, I was drawing what I felt. I was writing what I felt, which I think is what art is. But once I started to like compare it to other people's stuff, it doesn't look anything like theirs. And there are plenty of people now who this is not their thing. And it could be for a variety of reasons. They could think it's not very good, fair. It could be something they're not comfortable with because it doesn't look like anything else that maybe they grew up with or that they like now. But then there are other people who this really speaks to them. And I think the number one message or conversation that I've had with people who really like the Weirdos, they tell me they like it because it is so raw and it feels so human. And compared to, for example, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which, is really, it's big budget, it's overproduced, sometimes it doesn't feel real. Compared to that world, this speaks to them in a way that doesn't. And, those kinds of messages and those conversations, along with like my continuing education, have really inspired my confidence to the point where I'm as confident out there in public as I am in private. And I know some of you are like, wait, you're not confident in public? A lot of that, you have to, they say fake it till you make it. And and I am confident with who I am as a person, but like, with art and stuff, it's a little bit different. You're exposing yourself in a way that, most people don't expose themselves. And that is not, I don't want to, when I say expose, I mean like my heart, not, don't do that. Anyway, you know how you can like read a book or watch a movie and you love it, and then like 5 years later, you go back and you read it again or you watch it again, and it's different because you've grown as a person. Well, the same thing applies when you're a writer or an artist. You can go back to your own work and you can see it with new eyes, and it's great because sometimes I come back to my art and I'm like, this is so much better than I felt like it was, and sometimes I'm like, this is so much worse. But the thing is, it's always changing. And right now I'm in a place with the Weirdos where I don't know, I love what it is and what it stands for and the conversations that I have with it, and that's why I'm doing this gallery, because I don't know, it's a way to celebrate something that came from my heart. It is also kind of a fight against AI because they say that AI is going to cause a jobs crisis. It's already here. They're already replacing human workers with AI in different ways, and if you don't believe me, I have plenty of articles I can send you. You can also look at the job reports. You can see what Doge has done in the government, but that's not here nor there. What I'm here to say is that art is the opposite of AI. Okay? AI and algorithms are the reason why there's a sameness to everything, besides the fact that us human beings love the comfortable. Real art is like a completely unique perspective, and this Weirdos gallery it's part of my fight against AI. It's a part of you to come and see what it's like to create things with your own hands and your own thoughts and feelings, and hopefully it inspires people to not type in a prompt, but inspires them to learn how to create art on their own. And I know I'm just rambling now, but I put my money where my mouth is. And I don't just create art myself. I've spent a lot of my life teaching people how to create art, and create art that's theirs. One more example from the Weirdos about how it's just not like anything else. It's a superhero book, and I spent a lot of time thinking like, how could I make like a superhero cover, right? Like the superhero cover is all, they're all action-packed, and it's got all these buff people punching each other. And what I ended up going with was this image of the Weirdos just sitting on the end of a dock, just sitting, doing nothing. And I don't think there's a single person on this planet who would say, hey, for your superhero book, you should have a bunch of people sitting on a dock as the expression. But that's what this book is about. This book is about communicating to each other. And it doesn't, there is a fight in it, but that's not what the story is about. And so this became something really unique, and that goes all the way to the cover here. And so I hope you stop by the art gallery this weekend, and I hope we have good conversations. And I hope you, like me, feel inspired by AI and this conformity that we're facing, because it should teach us to be more creative. It should teach us to be more original and unique, because that's how we're going to stand out. And so I love y'all. I hope to see you this weekend, and that's it for me.